Key functionaries, Comptroller and Auditor General of India. The Comptroller and Auditor General CAG is an important official of the Union government. His office has been created by the Constitution. He is appointed by the President. Generally, a person with a long administrative experience and knowledge of the accounts is appointed to this office. He holds the office for a term of 6 years or till he attains the age of 65 years. However, he can relinquish office earlier. The President can also remove him from the office before the expiry of his term on grounds of proved misbehavior and incapacity. The President issues order for removal of CAG only on the recommendation of the two houses of Parliament. The Comptroller and Auditor General received a monthly salary of rupees 9,000 till 1998, when it was increased to 30,000. In addition to this, he is entitled to free official accommodation, medical benefits, and other allowances. He is entitled to pension after retirement. The Constitution ensures the independence of the CAG by charging his salary and other expenses for the maintenance of his office from the Consolidated Fund of India, by providing that the salary and other services condition of the CAG shall not be changed to his disadvantage during his tenure, by giving him complete control over administrative staff, by making him remove difficult functions under the Indian Constitution. The Controller and Auditor General continues to perform the same functions and parts which he had before the commencement of the Constitution, both accounting and auditing functions. His accounting functions include maintenance of accounts of the central and state governments. He prepares the annual summary of these accounts and provides direction regarding the methods and principles to be observed for the maintenance of accounts. He also submits to the President general statement relating to accounts of each year showing balances and outstanding liabilities. However, in 1976, the CAG has been relieved of his responsibilities with regard to compilation and maintenance of accounts, a job which was transferred to the administrative ministries, and he is left only with auditing duties. In short, the CAG acts as custodian and trustee of the public money. He ensures regularity of expenditure and looks into the wisdom of the expenditure. Every year, the CAG of India submits a report relating to the accounts of the Union to the President, who places the same before the Parliament. Attorney General of India. Attorney General is the highest legal officer of the Union government and renders legal assistance to it. He is appointed by the President and holds office during his pleasure. To be eligible for appointment as Attorney General of India, a person must possess the qualifications prescribed for a judge of the Supreme Court. He is entitled to such salary and allowances as may be determined by the President. Attorney General is entitled to audience in all courts in the country and can take part in the proceedings of Parliament and its committees. However, he is not given the rights to vote. Functions. He is the Chief Legal Advisor of the Government of India and gives his advice on all such legal matters which may be referred or assigned to him by the President. He also performs such other legal duties as are assigned to him by the President from time to time. The Attorney General appears before the Supreme Court and various High Courts in cases involving the Government of India. Election Commission. The Constitution provides for an independent election commission to ensure free and fair elections to the Parliament, the state legislature, and the office of the President, Vice President. The Election Commission consists of Chief Election Commissioner, and such other commissioners of the President may decide from time to time. Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners are appointed by the President for a term of 5 years. The term can be cut short on account of resignation or removal by the President on grounds of proved misbehavior or incapacity on the commendation of the Parliament. Finance Commission. The Constitution under Article 280 provides for the establishment of Finance Commission by the President within 2 years of commencement of the Constitution and thereafter at the end of every 5 years. So far, the President has appointed 13 finance commissions, the last in 2007 under Dr. Vijay L. Kelkar. The Finance Commission consists of chairman and 4 other members. According to the disqualifications prescribed by the Parliament, the chairman is selected from among the persons who have had experience in public affairs, while the members are selected from among persons who are of or have been or are qualified to be appointed judges of the High Court or have special knowledge of the finance and accounts of the government. have had wide experience in financial matters and in administration, have special knowledge of economics. The members of the Commission hold office for such a period as may be specified by the President in his orders and are eligible for reappointment. The Commission submits its report to the President, who lays the recommendation of the Finance Commission before both the houses of the Parliament together with an explanatory memorandum. Planning Commission. The Planning Commission was set up in March 1950 as a result of cabinet resolution. That is why the Planning Commission is rightly described as an extra constitutional body, which in theory is said to be an advisory committee of the cabinet, but in practice has become a very vital organ of the planning in India. Its job is to promote a rapid rise in the standard of living of the Indian people by the efficient use of the natural resources, increasing production and offering opportunities to all for employment in the service of the community. The Planning Commission is charged with the responsibility of making assessment of all resources in the country, suggesting ways of augmenting deficient resources, formulating plans for effective and balanced utilization of resources, and determining priorities.